Now let's take this question. This is another question that I come from there. Right. A company produces 3 products. A company produces 3 products. Three. Namely, Akabia. It's not Academia. Yeah. The company produces 3 products, namely Akabia, Akamot. Not, malt. And Aka Stout. Why are you shouting there? You know what's happening. Yeah. Akabia. Agamot. Got a waka. Are you there? Akabia, Akamot, and Aka Stout. Stop. In one period, direct costs on each were as follows. In one period, are you there? Direct costs on each were as follows. Then go down. The apportionable overhead cost was 248,124. The apportionable overhead cost was 248,124. Did you get that? Naira. The cost accountant apportioned it using the ratio 35:30:25:20:14 for department A, for department A, B, maintenance, power supply, and canteen, respectively. Full stop. Should you get that? Full stop. 60% of maintenance cost is used by department A and the rest by department B. Full stop. 75% of power supply is used by department B and the rest by department A. 80% of canteen cost is used by department A and the rest by B. All the products pass through department A and the time spent by them in it is the same. And the time spent by them in it is what?
The same.
The same. Only Akabia. Only Akajibia. Huh? Are you going to learn it? Only Akabia and Aka Stout. There was Aka 5 alive. Are you there? Pass through department B. Pass through department B, and the time spent by them in it is the same. And required to prepare cost accounts showing the cost of producing Akabia, Akamo, and Aka Stout. Now, if you have gone through past questions, you will notice that this particular question is one of the major questions. Now, how do we solve this? Very simple. Now, let me just give an illustration of what is required. Now they said a particular company produces 3 products, which is beer, malt, and stout. Now, given all this information, they want to know the cost of producing this product. What is the cost of producing them? Because it is when they know the cost of producing them, then they can now add their profit, and they can now determine their selling price, right? Because it is the cost plus your profit that will give what you sell your product. Now, they said for this product, the direct materials they use for them, look at the price. Direct labor, of course, we already know what is labor, and the expenses. Now, they said allocable factory overhead were as follows. In the previous class, we talked about allocation of overhead and apportionment. We said allocation of overhead is when what? Is the assignment overhead to a cost center based on the fact that it was caused by that cost center, right? Okay, so they said their allocable factory overhead were as follows. Production department, A, B. Now I told you we have 2 cost center, production and service. Production and service. I defined what is cost center. Now production department A and B. Now this is the 2 departments that is producing all this. This is the department that is producing beer, malt, and stout. Now the service department. Now this service department, they render service to the company, which is the production department. For instance, maintenance. If something goes wrong, probably the machine, they have to maintain it. Power supply, they will give them light. And also, I said some of the people working here, they also come here to eat. So, probably during their break. Now these are the 2 cost centers. Now these are their different allocations, direct. Now they now gave us the value for apportionment, which we read. We said the apportionable overhead cost is 248124. Now what it means is that that value is what all these people use together. This one now is what department A use, department B only use, service department, maintenance use, power supply use, canteen. That's what they use. Now they gave us another value, what they all use together, and gave us a ratio. I explained this in the last class. And gave us a ratio on how to apportion based on the benefits they have received from that. Okay? Now given all that, they now said we should determine the cost of producing this. Now where do we start from? And how do we do this? Now we have a solution. Please follow me. Now look up. Now in solving this, please start from the service department. Start from the service department. Now I'm going to open each of the ledgers so that we start posting them one after the other. So I'll start with maintenance. Start with maintenance. Then the next one, start with power supply. And I'll have canteen. Then I'll go to the production department. I'll go to department A. I'll also go to department B. Then I'll now move to the product itself, which is Akajibia, Akabia, Aka what? Then Aka. You would have played this start. As we are playing this start, you are remembering something. Give me my time. Now please look up. Look up. This is very simple to solve. Just follow me. We said start from the service department and go down. Now the first thing we want to start with is their allocation. Now the allocation is the particular expenses they incurred for each of this service and production department. Now we have, they said the allocable factory overhead were as follows. Now this is the production department, and this is service. What they incurred direct. So for maintenance, it is 4,000. So now since it was what they incurred, so I'll come here and write allocable 4,000 for maintenance. That's maintenance, allocable. Remember this allocable. Now the next one is power supply. I also come here, allocable. How much is it? 5,200. Then I'll go to canteen, allocable, 3,800. Then I'll go to production department A, still allocable. How much is it? 7,000. Then I'll go to department B,
96.
allocable. How much is it?
96.
96. Okay. Now, let me record Aka beer, Aka malt, and stout. Now, they said these are what they spend in producing this material, labor, and expense. So let's record each and every one of them. Now, for material, for Aka beer, they spend 20,000. So I'll come here and write material. For Aka beer, how much is it?
20,000.
20,000. Okay. Then for labor, how much is it?
15,000.
15,000. Then for expense, how much is it?
7,000.
7,000. Now that's for Aka beer. We are done with that. Now we come to months. The same thing. Material, how much is it?
25,000.
25,000. The next one is what?
22,000.
Labor is 22,000. And expense, how much?
9,000.
9,000. Okay. Then for start is what?
28,000.
28,000. Yes.
30,000.
Labor is 30,000. And what? Expense, how much?
10,000.
10,000. Now we have record this and also the allocation. Now let's move to the apportionment. Now they gave us an apportionment value. It means that all this cost center, which is production and service, they have a generalized expenses that is not for each. So they now gave us a ratio that we are going to use to share it based on the benefit they have received. Now they said respectively. Since they say respectively, it means starting from there, department A has this, department B has this, maintenance has this, power supply has this, canteen has this. So that's what it means. So how do we apportion this now? Now since I'm starting with maintenance, it means this is maintenance. If this is department A, department B, this is maintenance, this is power supply, and this one canteen. Okay? Now we want to get the apportionable for each of these cost center. So the first thing you have to do, add up this ratio. So we're going to add 35, help me, plus 30, plus 25, plus 20, plus 14. What do we have?
124.
124, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's 124. So now, for maintenance, the apportionable, it will now be, watch. It will now be, for maintenance is 25. So it is 25 over the total, which is 124 times the total value of that apportionable cost. Is that much? I gave you there now, call it.
248,124.
248,124. 248,124. This is the total amount that is supposed to be shared. Okay, and they give us this rate. So for maintenance, we are using 25 over the total of this times this amount. 248,124. So I have 25 over 124 times 248,124. So what do we have?
50025.
50025. 2.5. Like this? Huh? Is it 2.5 or 2.5? 2.5. Okay. So we have done for maintenance the apportionment. Now we'll go to power supply. Now power supply is this 20, right? So for apportionment, it becomes 20 over the total. Which is what? 124 times 248 124. So what do we have? 4020. Like this?
Yes.
Okay. So that is the allocable, right? Okay. Apportionment, sorry. No, allocable. Now the next one is canteen. Canteen. This is canteen. 14, right? So we come here again for apportionment. That is 14 over 124 times 248 124. What do we have? 28. Like this?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Okay. So that is for canteen. Now we come to department A. Now department A is the first one, right? So we have. Okay, apportionment. Now it becomes 35, right?
Yes.
Over 124 times 248 124. What do we have? 700. Like this?
Yes.
Okay. Now department B, which is the last now, becomes for apportionable or apportionment. We now have what? 30 over 124 times 248 124. So this is how I huh?
600.
Like this?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Now if you want to know if you are correct, if you add each of all these apportionments, it will give you this total. Okay? So that is the apportionment.
Okay, sir.
Now the next thing, now let's go to our question. Now after the apportionment, what did they ask us to do? Now they said 60% of what?
Maintenance cost is used by department A.
And the rest by what?
Department B.
Now let's move. Now watch. They said 60%. Listen up. Now what they are saying is department A, which is the production department, they use 60% of this total of maintenance cost. So what we are going to do first is to get the total cost of maintenance by adding these two. So if we add these two, help me, 4,000 plus this. 540.25, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, they say 60% of maintenance cost was used by department what? A. 60% of maintenance cost was used by department A. So, I'm going to have here department A 60%, which is 60 over 100, right?
Yes.
Times this, which is what? 540125 over 1. Now 60% of this, what do we have?
32415.
Huh?
32415.
32415. Any question on this? Okay. Now they said the rest. They didn't tell us what percent. But once they mention the rest, if this is 60% used by department A, and we have two departments, A and B. So it means department B will not have what's the rest?
Department B.
Will not have what's the remaining?
40.
Huh? 40 now. Why is this 40? If you say 60%,
Okay, 40.
that's 60 plus 40 is 100. So now department B is 40 over 100 times 54025 over 1, right?
Yes.
So this divided by this times, what do we have?
20010.
20010. Like this, right?
Yes, sir.
Huh? Okay. So if we now add these two, it will still give us 5402. So you see how we balance this?
Yes.
Are you there? Now, watch you. They said 60% was of maintenance cost was used by department A. So as we have this value, now we now take this value to department A. Now this is credited here. The corresponding debit entry comes to department A. Please call that value for me. Call that value for me. Call it 9.6.
Yes.
Then the apportionment.
That. 30 over 1 to 4 times.
How much is it? Like this. Now look up. Look up. They said 60% of maintenance cost was used by department A, while the rest was used by department B. So if 60% was used by A, it means the remaining 40% will be used by B.
Yes.
So this is what they use. It means the maintenance they did, this is the total cost. But this total cost, they maintained department A 60%, and they also maintain department B 40%. So they are not carrying this cost now to department A. So it is credited here, the corresponding entry comes to department A. So we now have here maintenance as one of the things they incurred as expense, which is 32415. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The next one now, department B has this. So we come to department B. So higher maintenance 20010. So we are done with the maintenance. We go to power supply. Now let's read the information they give us about power supply. 75% of what? Is used by what?
Department B.
And the rest by what?
Department A.
So they said 75% of power supply is used by department what? B. So you saw how we did this. So the first thing you do, let's get the total. So this canteen. What is the total out there? 4, 5, 2, 220 like this? Okay. So they said 75% was of this power supply now. You give them power. They said 75% of the expenses of this power supply was used by department B. So we'll come here and we'll say department D 75, which is 75 over 100 times this total. Which is what? 45220 over what? So what do we have?
33915.
33915. Now they said the rest was used by who?
Department A.
A. So what will now be the rest?
25.
Thank you very much. So we have 25 over 100 times 45220 over 1. So what do we have?
11305.
11305. So if you now add this together, it will now give us
45220.
220. Now the same way we did for this. Now this is power supply. This is department A. So bring department B. Look at department B. Credit, they will bring it here. We now write power supply. How much is it? 33915. Now the same thing we do for department A. Department A. We bring it here as what? Power supply. How much is it?
11305.
11305. That's so good. Are you done? The next one, we continue. Let's see for canteen. We continue with information. What is about canteen again?
80% of canteen cost.
80% of what?
Canteen cost.
Is used by what?
Department A.
Uh-huh.
And the rest by department B.
So if they said 80% of canteen cost, it means department A, most of their employees went to this canteen to eat. Okay? So the first thing we are going to do here is to get the total, right? So help me.
31814.
31814. Right? Okay? So now department, is it A or B? A. They said 80%, right? So that's 80 over 100 times this. 31814. What do we have?
25451 point
254
51.2.
51.2. Okay, 254 51.2, Department A. Now they said the rest was used by Department B. So what would that be the rest?
20
So that's 20 over 100 times 31814. So what do we have?
6362.8.
6362.8. 6362.8. So if you add this together, it gives us 31814, right? So the same way, this is Department A, it comes here as canteen, right? So we have canteen 25451.2. Department B, we have also canteen 636 2.8. Now let's continue also with information. What did I say? All the product pass to what? Now look up. Look up. So these expenses now we have splitted it and shifted it to the department. Both of them. The same way now, we will now carry these expenses, this cost, and put on the head of the product. So that we will now determine the cost of this product. Now watch. They said all the departments, all the product pass through Department A. So it means that Department A produce these three products: beer, malt, and stout. They produce these three. Okay? So, and they said the time. Let's get it right. And it's the same, right? So since they are three, look up. The first thing you do now also, get the total of this. Of Department A. Let's get the cost. How much is it? Please help me. 7,000 plus this, plus that, plus this, plus that. 146 206.2, like this. Now they said these three products pass through Department A. So it is now Aka beer, Aka malt, and Aka what? Now they said the three pass through Department A, and the time they spent the same. So if they are the same, it means they have equal time they spent there. So we are going to share this cost equally. Now how do we do that? Now this becomes 1/3. Since there are three products, we're sharing equally. That's 1/3 of each of these. So 1/3 times 146 206.2. What do we have? This is, there's no space here. But please just know that we are sharing by 1/3. So 1/3 times this. What do we have? 48735. Point what? 0.4. So it means it will be the same for all. 48735.4. 48735.4. Hope you know how we got this.
Yes.
Who's saying that now? We said these three products pass through this and they spend the same time. In some questions, they might give you the different time they spent. So you use that rate. But since they said it's the same time and they are three, so we are dividing it equally. So it is as though you are saying this divided by 3. If you divide this by 3, it will give you this. So you share it. So that if you add these three together, it will still give you this total. So then take which one? Which one? This one. This. Huh? Yes. 40% is what is amount. Call it. 40% on this is that much. That's what people call it. Who called that? Okay. And what's that value? 21611. So if you add together, this is right. Huh? So this 21610 is Department B. Down. Which is this. Right? Okay. So we have 21610. Okay. We are lucky we are not even. Now look up. So the same way we have department A having these three products they produce. Now this value now, we will now take it to each of them. Are you seeing it? So it is credited here. So the debit entry. So we have department A here. Department A. ACABM. Look at this amount. Which is 48735.4. We go to department ACAMOD. Still department A. How much is it? 48735.4. Then we'll go to staff. Department A, the same thing. 48735.1. So you see how we have taken the cost of this production department and shared it on the product. Okay? That's how to get the cost. Then the last part of this question, what does it say? Now they said only Aka, beer and stout, right? Pass to department B. It means department B malt. Are you there? Now look up. Now we now have. Now the first thing you do, let's get the total also.
1315.
1315 and
17.8.
1315.
17.8.
17.8. 1315, 17.8. That's the total. So they said it is beer and stout. So come here. Aka beer and Aka stout. So we are going, and they said the time they spend is also equal, right? So in this situation now, we are going to use 1/2 because there are 2. Or you do this divided by 2. So 1/2 times this, what is it giving us? 1/2, which is half, times this is what? 6. 65758.9. So it will be the same for both. 7.9. So if you add them, it will still give us 131,517.1. Yeah. So we are now taking this now. After beer, we'll put it here. Department B. 65758.9. Now, months did not pass through here, so we'll come to staff. Department what? B. How much is it? 65758.9. So we're done with that. So what do we now do? And the question was getting the cost of producing this. So you see how we have shared the cost of this to the product. So let's now add up all this. Help me, one person add this, another add this, and another person also add.
For the first one.
The first one. 156494.3. Yes, the next person is one. 104 735.4. 194.4. Now look up. So to balance this up now, we now have our balance carried out. And this is now 156,494.8. So this is 156,494.8. Now the same thing, we have balance carried out here. 104,735.4. So this becomes the total 104,735.4. And we're having balance carried down 182,494.3. So we have 182,494.1. So now look up the cost of producing Aka beer. Aka beer, the cost is 156,494.1. Why the cost of producing more is how much?
104.
Why the cost of producing after discount? So this is how we can get the factory cost of producing this product. Now listen, because I'm supposed to solve another question, but I will not solve that. Now watch, let me say this. I think that is related to your assignment. That's what I say. If they said the cost per carton of each, the cost per carton, they might give you that this is the total cost. They will not give you the quantity they want to produce. The quantity you want to produce. Let's say the quantity is 1,000 for each. 1,000. This is the quantity. And they said, what is the cost per carton? So it is now this divided by this. Will now give you the cost per carton. The total cost is derived there, divided by the quantity. Will now give you the total. That's in another question. If one comes out like that, it can have additional thing of what I'm saying now. In addition of what we're doing now, you can say the cost per. The cost per is now their total cost divided by the quantity they want to produce to give you cost. Okay? So that is how we have to look at that. Any question?